Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, Traders Pro. Market conditions remaining bullish in this bull market. I saw another little pause yesterday with a little bit of uptrend bias. We'll take a look at a chart here in just a moment. We're seeing momentum moving back into that bullish range as it has been for a couple of days. And breadth indicator down in this trending zone, but working its way potentially back up slightly based on yesterday's day. We'll look at the buy-sell ratio and sentiment is actually improving right here. That's one of the issues that we're dealing with right now, and that is really just the strength of this rally, but the lack of participation. So we did see the buy-sell ratio, it's at 0.54, and typically when we have the red line above the green line, that is a bearish bias. And one of the things we're seeing is we're just not seeing large market-based participation in this most recent rally. Particularly the last month during January, we've continued to see this upside with some sideways chop across the market as a whole. That could start to indicate that there are less and less participants in this uptrend, which means that it's going to start to run out of demand here. We are seeing a move here in bonds back down to the downside. We saw it rally with an attempted move higher above it up into that momentum zone and then back down into down in this 236 zone where between 93 and that 96 range. We'll see if bonds can stabilize, find some support, and either move sideways through this time frame or ultimately move back up again. If it continues to slide back down, then the bond market doesn't trust what the Fed is talking about and ultimately may not be raising interest rates anytime soon. It's kind of the bet that the bond market is looking at right here. We have seen equities moving up nicely. SPY, we saw just these two real solid up days here. Now two really paused but slightly bottoming tail bars right here, just really quiet. And that's more of a bullish price pattern than it is bearish. If this price pattern typically melts up, it feels like we could get one more push higher or continued push higher. As we've talked about before, just the level of the trend and creating any sustainability when we're this far into this trend. It's doing okay with this backfilling. If we get a day or two and it pulls back and then it moves higher and it pulls back versus something straight up like this. So we'll watch to see, with any kind of a retracement that we're getting here in the shorter term. If we take a look at sectors, we are seeing a few more of those sectors from yesterday bump back up into that buy range. So we're seeing a little bit more participation at the sector level, at least on the ETFs, and that could be the scenario is we get more participation back in now versus less. But we're at the upper end of that range. Let's look at some commodities here. Gold had a little bit of an up day yesterday, still hovering and playing with that 187 range, and oil, which has been sliding here the last 2 or 3 days, is now starting to find some support in that upper range of that 68 support. It's got a lot of work to do now to be able to continue or start this overall uptrend. It looked like it was going to happen here and just had some, a lot of geopolitical things happening, things in the Middle East that are affecting the price of oil. If we take a look at some new buys for today, we had PLTR, which had earnings, obviously beat those earnings and had a really nice move, gap up 30%. And a little bit of additional trading on that higher. Keep an eye on those when we get these real strong earnings and big gapper. This is a big AI play and could get some follow through on PLTR. And GRC, we'll pass through that. That looks like a buyout. If you ever come across a stock and it looks flat like this, then essentially that's the stock that has had a buyout, and it just takes some time for the new ticker symbol to take over, and then this one goes away, but sometimes that pulls into the scans still. STTK, I'll take a look at that one. We're still seeing some names, some biotech names, drug stocks. Lots of those stocks are still scrolling through the overall new buy list, even down a little bit deeper. And don't forget to do that. You're getting a lot of really quality names in this upper 90 range right here. Doesn't always have to necessarily be the best performing. That's just in terms of rank, the highest rank. That just allows us to be able to filter down a little bit more. But you may come across some additional names down here as you're scrolling through and looking at price patterns of stocks that may be of additional interest to you. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.